All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful ideas in, well, all of game theory. It kicks off with a simple story about a couple of prisoners. But trust me, it reveals this fundamental tension that shapes pretty much everything, from business to politics. And it really all comes down to one simple question. What happens when what's best for you is in direct conflict with what's best for us? So here's the classic setup. Picture this. Two partners in crime get busted. The thing is, the police don't really have enough evidence to put them away for the big stuff. So what do? They split them up, put them in separate rooms. No talking, no coordinating, nothing. And then, the cops slide the exact same deal across the table to each of them, a deal that's specifically designed to turn them against each other. Okay, so I want you to put yourself in that room for a second. The clock's ticking, you've got to make a choice. Are you going to betray your partner to save your own skin, or are you going to trust them and keep your mouth shut? Forget about the logic for a minute before we get into all the numbers. What's your gut telling you? What would you do? All right, to even begin to make that choice, you need to know the stakes, right? So let's break down exactly what could happen. This is a simple choice, but man, it feels impossible. This right here, this is the payoff matrix. It lays out every single possibility. The numbers you see, those are years in prison. So look, if you both stay silent, if you cooperate, you each get just 1 year. That's the best outcome for the team, right? But here's the temptation. If you betray your friend while they stay silent, you walk free, 0 years. And the biggest fear, the absolute worst case scenario, you stay silent like a chump and they betray you. You get 10 years. And if you both turn on each other, well, you both get 5 years. But what happens if we take all the emotion out of it, all the loyalty, all the trust, and we just look at the cold, hard logic? Well, it turns out one option starts to look like the only rational move. Let's just walk through the calculation. Scenario 1, let's assume your partner's gonna stay silent. What's your best move? Betrayal, right? 0 years is way better than 1 year, no brainer. Okay, scenario 2, assume your partner is gonna betray you. Now what's your best move? It's still betrayal. Because 5 years is a whole lot better than the 10 years you'd get for being the loyal one who gets sold out. See? Betrayal is what they call the dominant strategy. So here's the kicker. No matter what the other person does, you are always better off betraying them. And since they're a rational person too, they're running the exact same calculation in their head. So what happens? You both betray. You both get 5 years. This outcome has a name. It's called a Nash equilibrium. And all that means is that once you're in that box, both betraying, neither one of you can make things better for yourself by switching your strategy alone. Think about it. If you suddenly decided to stay silent, your sentence would jump from 5 years to 10. It's a trap. It's perfectly logical, and at the same time, it's completely nuts, because you both end up worse off than if you just managed to cooperate. But all of that logic, that only works for a one-time game. What if we change just one little rule? Because this one tweak completely flips the script. It opens the door for a whole new possibility: cooperation. And that game-changing question is, what if you have to play again tomorrow? What if this isn't a one-shot deal? What if you know you're going to face this exact same choice with this exact same person over and over and over again? Well, that's called the iterated prisoner's dilemma. And all of a sudden, everything you do today has consequences for tomorrow. The political scientist Robert Axelrod put it perfectly. He said that for cooperation to be stable, the future must have a sufficiently large shadow. I love that. Basically, it just means that the possibility of future games, future rewards for playing nice, has to be big enough to outweigh the temptation to just grab the cash and run today. Suddenly, your reputation is on the line. So this idea, this shadow of the future, led to one of the most famous experiments in all of game theory. And out of it came a strategy for cooperation that was so simple, so elegant, and it was the undisputed champion. Back in the 80s, this guy Axelrod invited a bunch of game theory experts to submit computer programs for a tournament. The game, the repeated prisoner's dilemma. And the winner was the simplest one submitted. It was called tit for tat. And its entire strategy was this: cooperate on the first move, and after that, just do whatever your opponent did on the last move. That's it. So then Axelrod holds a second tournament. Bigger, more complex. And this time, everyone knows about tit for tat. They're all gunning for it, designing these complex strategies specifically to beat it. And guess what happened? Tit for tat won again. So why was this simple little program so unbeatable? Well, Axelrod boiled it down to 4 key things. First, it was nice. It would never, ever be the first one to betray. Second, it was provocable. If you betrayed it, it would hit back immediately on the next move, no hesitation. But third, and this is crucial, it was forgiving. The moment you went back to cooperating, it would forgive you and cooperate right back. And finally, it was clear. Its strategy was so simple that other programs could easily figure out what it was doing, which made it really easy to fall into a nice, cooperative rhythm. Okay, so for decades, tit for tat was like the gold standard, the champion of cooperation. But it turns out it has a couple of really critical hidden flaws. And there's another strategy, a more robust one, that can overcome them. So here's the problem with our champ. First, in the real world, mistakes happen, right? Communication gets messy. And tit for tat is just too vengeful. A single accidental mistake can trigger this endless death spiral of back and forth retaliation that it can't escape from. The second problem is a little more subtle. It's not evolutionarily stable. So imagine a whole society of tit for tat players. They're all happily cooperating. A few always cooperate suckers can wander in, and nothing bad happens, because tit for tat is nice to them. But once you have enough of those suckers around, the whole population becomes a juicy target for a ruthless, always defect predator to come in and just clean house. Okay, so time to meet the new challenger. It's a strategy called win, stay, lose, shift. And its logic is even simpler. It's all about your own results. If your last move got you a good outcome, hey, keep doing it. If your last move got you a bad outcome, switch. That's the whole rule. You don't even really care what the other player is doing. You only care if you're winning or losing. And this is why it's so brilliant at handling mistakes. Check it out. Up top, you've got two win, stay, lose, shift players cooperating. Then one of them accidentally defects, the other one immediately retaliates, which gives the first player a bad outcome. What does the rule say? If you get a bad outcome, you switch. So it switches right back to cooperation. The death spiral is broken. It's a one-and-done punishment, and down at the bottom, you can see how it handles those always cooperate players. It exploits them, which sounds mean, but it's actually what protects the whole group from being taken over by Predator. So let's just put them head to head. When a mistake happens, tit for tat gets locked into that revenge cycle forever. Win, stay, lose, shift, it punishes once, then immediately self-corrects. And against a sucker, tit for tat just lets them hang around, making the whole group vulnerable. Win, stay, lose, shift, on the other hand, exploits them, which keeps the population strong and resilient. And you know, the final verdict from all these big evolutionary simulations is just fascinating. Tit for tat is almost never the long-term winner. It's an absolutely essential catalyst. Its niceness is what allows cooperation to get a foothold in the first place. But the strategy that actually survives and thrives in a messy, complex world, that's win, stay, lose, shift. You could say tit for tat is the bridge that gets you to cooperation, but win, stay, lose, shift is the destination. Okay, so this is all really cool, but it's way more than just a thought experiment or a game for computers. This exact dilemma, this tension between cooperating and betraying, it's playing out all around us, literally all the time. You know, one of the most stunning real-world examples comes from the trenches of World War I. In these static parts of the front, enemy soldiers actually developed this informal live and let live system. They basically got caught in a repeated game. They understood the logic perfectly. As one soldier wrote, if you prevent your enemy from drawing his rations, he will prevent you from drawing yours. So, completely against orders, they'd often cooperate by, not shooting to kill, as long as the other side did the same. It was tit for tat in the deadliest environment imaginable. Or let's jump to a more modern battlefield, the soda aisle. This is a classic prisoner's dilemma for Coke and Pepsi. Look, if they both just hold their prices steady, they each make a cool $500 million. Awesome. But each one is constantly tempted to cut prices to steal some market share. If Pepsi cuts prices and Coke doesn't, Pepsi suddenly makes a massive $750 million. But what's Coke gonna do? They're gonna retaliate immediately and cut their prices too. And where do they both end up? With only $250 million in profit each. Way worse than if they just cooperated. And honestly, once you start looking for this pattern, you see it everywhere. It's in those business price wars and advertising battles. It's in international arms races, where every country feels like it has to build more weapons, which just makes everyone less safe. It's at the heart of climate change negotiations. You even see it in biology, with animals cooperating to hunt or watch for predators. It's in your daily life. Should you and a colleague share credit on a project? That's a prisoner's dilemma. So I guess the big takeaway here is that you personally are constantly a player in some version of the prisoner's dilemma, whether you realize it or not. So the real question is, now that you understand the cold, seductive logic of betrayal, but you also understand the long-term power of cooperation, how are you going to play the next time you're faced with that simple and yet impossible choice?